Howdy folks, Tex Grebner here with Tex Grebner Outdoors. Now there's a question out there that is actually kind of a fallacy. Why don't broadheads shoot the same as field points? What I have here are 3 arrows. 2 broadhead arrows, 2 field point or practice point arrows, and 2 unpointed shafts. These are carbon, these are wood. Carbon arrows and aluminum arrows allow for screw-in points. Wooden arrows must be tapered and glued onto their points. An arrow must be straight from its tip all the way back to its nock where it joins the string. This is much more difficult with the traditional arrows or the glue-on pointed arrows, because once this point is on here, it's on there for good. You must have a perfectly tapered shaft, and the taper must be the exact same on your field point as on your broadhead arrow. You can't change these out. However, on carbon arrows and aluminum arrows, you can. Now, one of the biggest issues that people have with compound archery is that they zero their bow and sight in their pins with field points. Then come season, they take off their field points and put on their broadheads and shoot practicing with their broadheads, which is wise. But then they discover that their broadheads don't shoot the same spot that their field points did. There is a huge fallacy out there in the archery industry that broadheads cannot shoot as accurately as field points. That is a myth. A field point is very aerodynamic and is in fact turned on a lathe and has a perfectly straight point from the point of the field point all the way down the arrow. There's a couple of reasons why your broadheads may shoot differently than your field points, even if they are the same weight. One of them being, just like with our tapered arrow shafts, if your insert is not perfectly flush into your arrow, and your archery shop has not cut this perfectly flat, when you put a broadhead on it, it will be crooked. And you will not get the same arrow flight as you did with your field point, because this is a lot less pronounced than the shape of the broadhead. Now, that being said, there are also several manufacturers in the archery industry that make broadheads, and these broadheads are substandard, and these factories charge a premium price while maintaining low quality control. A broadhead arrow must be able to spin on a dot on a piece of paper with the broadhead on the arrow and stay on that dot until it loses speed. You must have a spin-tested broadhead. Now, that being said, you run into a perfect storm if you have an arrow that is not cut properly, so the insert doesn't sit straight in the arrow, and then you have a broadhead that is from a company with low quality control, and it's obviously not going to shoot the same way as the field point, which is a problem. Just as a quick demonstration of how a broadhead should spin, I'm going to spin this Werewolf Eclipse, and you'll see that until it loses stabilization, it will maintain the tip in the same spot. Now I'm going to spin a field point on that same spot. Field point arrow. Broadhead arrow. Let's pull out the field point first. The impact was so close that the broadhead actually skimmed the field point arrow. The fact that a broadhead and a field point cannot shoot equally accurately is in fact a fallacy. You must have a broadhead that is straight, an insert that is straight in your arrow, and an arrow that is straight from its insert all the way back to its nock, in addition to being straight from the tip of the broadhead all the way back to the nock of the arrow. Well, I hope you guys are happy. I just ruined an arrow for this little demonstration, but I also hope this video has been helpful to you guys. As always, God bless all my sportsmen of America. Join the NRA to protect our rights. Please check out my friends over at legallyconcealed.org. Thank you very much to those of you involved in law enforcement and those of you serving in the military. Write your representatives and your congressmen and let them know that an assault weapons ban is not what America needs right now. And thank you for watching Tex Grebner Outdoors.